Hey fellas, how you doing? It's Kirk Herbstreit from ESPN's College Game Day. Just wanted to take a second to just kind of give you an outside perspective of this new rule. And I know it's crazy, and I'm not saying we all agree with it, but it's reality in today's game of college football. This rule really started in the NFL. And Roger Goodell, the commissioner, has made it very clear that they're not going to put up with it in the NFL, and it's filtered down now into the college game. For the last 2 or 3 years, these kind of hits will give you a 15-yard penalty. This year, you're talking about getting kicked out of the football game. So listen, whether you agree with this or disagree with this, if you have one of these collisions, you're going to be kicked out of the game. Imagine being in a third quarter or fourth quarter, a huge game. Receiver goes up and a safety blows him up, head-to-head collision. Not only is it a penalty, you're kicked out of the game and you can't help your team try to win a football game. It's that big a deal. They're taking it very, very seriously. So it's no longer, I can't believe this rule. I don't agree with this rule. It's no longer that and take a 15-yard penalty. Now it's an ejection. So listen, adjust, do whatever you have to do, but make sure you listen to this presentation and take it very, very seriously.
Here is a series of 7 plays where there is a foul for targeting and initiating contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless player. In every play, we can see one or more elements of targeting, which means not trying to make a good football play, but apparently trying to inflict injury. Note that in each case, the player committing the foul either launches himself or he crouches and thrusts himself upward to attack the defenseless opponent in the head or the neck area. All these are situations where he could have made a great play by hitting lower and not deliberately going for the head or neck. In 2013, each one of these will result in a 15-yard penalty, plus the player will be ejected from the game. If the foul is in the first half, the player is ejected for the rest of that game. If the foul is in the second half, he's out for the rest of that game, plus the first half of the next game. Play number 8 is a foul for targeting and initiating contact with the crown of the helmet. Note that the player dips his head and drives his headgear into the upper chest area. This play is dangerous for the tackler, who runs the risk of his head being shoved down between his shoulders. The penalty for this foul is the same as in the other plays you have just seen. Here are 2 more plays that show targeting and initiating contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless opponent. These are very similar to the ones we saw earlier, and they demonstrate the elements of targeting. The player could avoid the 15-yard penalty and being ejected from the game by lowering his strike zone and not attacking by hitting high. The next 2 plays show fouls for targeting and initiating contact to the head or neck area of an opponent where the action is a blindside block. Starting in 2013, the player who is blocked from the blind side is a defenseless player. In both these cases, The player making the block launches or thrusts his body from a crouch into the head or neck area of the player being blindsided. Again, the penalty is 15 yards plus automatic ejection from the game. These last two plays illustrate how it is possible to legally hit a defenseless opponent. In each case, the hit is legal. The player does not lead with the crown of his helmet, and he does not attack high. He turns his head to the side, he leads with his shoulder, and he strikes his opponent at the midsection or chest area. These are good examples of plays that are good, tough football, but they're perfectly legal.